We all cheered for Bruno Sammartino in the wrestling ring, but behind the scenes, he faced personal battles that few knew about. His story is a reminder that even the strongest among us can experience immense pain. Bruno Leopoldo Francesco Sammartino, born on October 6, 1935, was an Italian-American wrestling icon, most famous for his long and legendary tenure with what is now known as WWE. Bruno held the record for the longest championship reign ever. He was the WWF World Heavyweight Champion for an incredible 2,803 days. That's nearly 8 years. Bruno was born into a large family of 7 in Italy and experienced a tough childhood, including surviving World War II under German occupation. In 1950, he moved to the United States with his family and settled in Pittsburgh. Before wrestling, he was into bodybuilding, which led him to start his wrestling career in 1959. Early in his career, Bruno was nicknamed the Italian Strongman and the strongest man in the world. He was renowned for his bear hug finishing move. He wrestled across various territories under the National Wrestling Alliance before joining the WWF. Bruno quickly made his mark by winning the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 1963 from Buddy Rogers in just 48 seconds. Even though he was a legend, his life was bombarded with controversies that he just couldn't escape from. But before we get into them, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bruno Sammartino definitely had his fair share of ups and downs with the wrestling world, especially with Vince McMahon and the WWE. Back when it was still called the WWF, Sammartino wasn't exactly thrilled with the direction it was going. He felt like they were making it more about the spectacle than the sport itself. He also wasn't a fan of the wrestlers using steroids and the bold storylines during the Attitude Era. All this led him to say no to the WWE Hall of Fame for a long time. When it comes to steroids, Sammartino got his share of accusations, like many wrestlers from his era. He never outright admitted to using them, but he did point out that they were pretty common in the wrestling scene back then. Sammartino also didn't hold back his thoughts on modern wrestling, particularly the WWE. He thought it lost touch with the actual athletic skills and got too caught up in the entertainment side. He wasn't into the over-the-top, sometimes risque storylines either. These opinions often made him clash with fans who were into the newer wrestling styles. Day by day, he was becoming an enemy of the big shots. But one sad day, this enemy passed away. Bruno Sammartino, a true wrestling legend, passed away at the age of 82 on April 18, 2018, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He had been battling heart disease, which eventually led to multiple organ failure. Bruno had a tough few months health-wise and had been in and out of the hospital a few times. He and his family kept the details of his health issues private throughout. When Bruno passed away, he was at home with his loved ones, his wife Carol and his sons Daryl and Dan. It was a peaceful end, with his family right by his side. Everyone who knew Bruno or watched him wrestle remembers him fondly. He wasn't just a wrestler. He was a hero to many for his incredible strength, athletic prowess, and his dedication to his fans. His death really shook the wrestling world, with fans and peers alike mourning the loss of such a great figure. Bruno's impact on wrestling is still celebrated today. He's a source of inspiration for countless wrestlers, and his contributions to the sport are legendary. A bit of trivia about his later life. Bruno actually stepped back from the public eye in October 2017, but never made a public statement about why he did so. His funeral, held a week after he passed, was a gathering of family, friends, and lots of people from the wrestling world. It was clear from the turnout just how much he meant to so many people. Even though he's gone, Bruno's legacy in wrestling is still very much alive and continues to influence the sport. So, to honor him, let's learn a thing or two about his career. In 1959, Bruno made headlines by setting a world record in the bench press, lifting an impressive 565 pounds without any support gear. He even paused with the bar on his chest for 2 seconds before pressing it up. Alongside weightlifting, he trained in wrestling with Rex Peary, the coach at the University of Pittsburgh. He also became known for performing strongman stunts around Pittsburgh, which caught the eye of local wrestling promoter Rudy Miller. Bruno made his professional wrestling debut on December 17, 1959 in Pittsburgh, pinning his opponent in just 19 seconds. His first match at Madison Square Garden came shortly after, where he defeated Bull Curry in 5 minutes. Despite his early success, Bruno felt held back in New York and planned to move to San Francisco. However, missing a couple of bookings led to suspensions, and he ended up back in Pittsburgh working as a laborer. On the advice of wrestler Yukon Eric, Bruno reached out to Toronto promoter Frank Tunney. Bruno quickly became a major attraction in Toronto, especially among the Italian community, and won his first wrestling championship in September 1962. In 1963, the first WWF World Champion, Buddy Rogers, had health issues, so the promoters decided to give the title to Bruno. He won the championship on May 17, 1963, defeating Rogers in just 48 seconds. Bruno held on to the WWF World Heavyweight Championship championship for an astonishing 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day, cementing his status as a wrestling legend. Bruno's second reign as champion started on December 10th, 1973, when he defeated Stan Stasiak, but injuries began to take a toll, and he eventually lost the title to superstar Billy Graham on April 30th, 1977. Bruno continued to have memorable matches and feuds, including a famous rivalry with Larry Zbyszko that ended in a dramatic steel cage match in 1980. Bruno retired from full-time wrestling in 1981, but made special appearances in the mid-1980s. He became a vocal critic of the WWE's direction, especially their use of steroids and controversial storylines. Despite this, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013 after the company addressed his concerns. Bruno Sammartino passed away on April 18, 2018, but he left behind an incredible legacy. His story is one of resilience, strength, and the true spirit of a champion. Talking about his personal life, Bruno Sammartino had a long and dedicated marriage to his wife Carol, starting in 1959 and lasting until his passing in 2018. They had 3 children together, David and fraternal twins Danny and Daryl. They also enjoyed the company of 4 grandchildren. The family settled in Ross Township near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from 1965 onwards. Interestingly, after retiring from wrestling, Bruno mentioned he became estranged from his son David because he didn't agree with his father's decision to quit wrestling and not form a tag team with him. In terms of honors, Bruno had some notable moments later in his life. On April 6, 2013, he was given the key to the city in Jersey City, New Jersey. A little over a month later, May 17th was declared Bruno Sammartino Day in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. That same year, he participated as a member of the Board of Governors in the 69th annual Columbus Day Parade, which was broadcast nationally. Bruno wasn't just known for his wrestling, but also had some memorable offstage moments. In the late 1960s, he clashed with Joe Cimino, the then new Pennsylvania Athletic Commissioner, during and after a match. This dispute escalated to a heated argument on Pittsburgh's studio wrestling show, resulting in Bruno being suspended for a month. Bruno Sammartino's life story is both inspiring and poignant. Despite the cheers and admiration he received inside the wrestling ring, Bruno faced numerous challenges and controversies outside of it. From surviving the hardships of World War II as a child in Italy to tackling personal and professional controversies in the wrestling world, his journey was marked by both resilience and struggle. Despite these conflicts, Bruno's impact on wrestling is undeniable. His legacy as a symbol of strength and perseverance continues to inspire wrestlers and fans alike. He was not just a legendary figure in the wrestling world, but also a loving husband, father, and a community icon whose contributions went beyond the ring. Bruno's passing in 2018 was a significant loss, felt deeply by his family, fans, and peers. Yet, the respect and admiration he garnered throughout his life ensure that his legacy will endure in the hearts of many. To explore more about Bruno Sammartino's remarkable life and career, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating wrestling history on our channel. If you like this, please go check out our latest one on Nathan Jones. I'm sure you love it.